Hey there, I'm a fellow barbecue enthusiast. Mike Baker here, Baker's Barbecue. Hey, today we're going to cook up 2 sides of Prairie Fresh ribs, St. Louis style cut. I'm not even sure how I'm going to do them yet. It's just going to be one of those wing the cook days, if you will. We're just going to get out here, we're going to have a good time. I'm just going to bring you guys along for the ride, and just going to have a good time cooking these ribs. So if you would hang out with me, fire up your smokers, and cook right along with me. Let's get to smoking. All right, so I'm going to bring you in here. We're going to do a quick trimming on these bad boys. We will be seasoning these ribs up today in my Baker's Barbecue competition rub. And I'm not going to use a binder. I didn't want to use a binder today. I'm just going to throw the rub on there. It's going to be just a laid back cook day. And just making some good old fashioned backyard good eating ribs, if you know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to get them trimmed up here, get them seasoned up, and then we'll get them on the smoker here in just a little bit. All right, first thing I'm going to do is just go ahead and take off this little back flap of meat right here. You've seen me do this in other videos. I don't like that on there. Don't really add, just kind of cut that big flap off. I'm going to leave some of that on there though. Take it off on both sides, both sides of ribs. Really helps making sure you got a sharp knife when you're doing this, of course. Take off that little loose piece right there. And let's see. Just going to square that off. Backside looks good on that one. Keeping it real simple today. Just looking for any fat deposits that aren't worth keeping. Just squaring off this end right here. So there's a bone right there, and I will keep those couple chunks there. I'll throw those on. The rest of that there is just mainly fat. Take off any sections that are hanging out there like that, because all they're going to do is most likely burn. All right, I'm going to flip it back over, and on this side here we're going to make sure we get rid of any fat that's not going to be beneficial. Caramelized fat throughout the meat's great, but these meaty deposits that sit up, these fatty deposits up on top of the meat that are slimy, get rid of those. Those are not going to do any good. They're not going to render down during the cook process. Not going to add any flavor. It's just going to be a piece of slimy fat when you go to serve it to your guest. And a lot of times that'll be on one end of the ribs, I've noticed. So I just go in there. Just take that off. Just to get rid of that right there. All right, so I'm not doing competition style ribs or anything like that today, so I'm not worried about it being all perfectly symmetrical, but I do like to go ahead and make sure my stuff looks good. Anytime you're going to have, anytime you're going to cook, you might as well go ahead and make it look as decent as you can. But I'm not going to take off as much meat as what I would if I was doing a competition trim, because I want to be able to enjoy these this evening with some friends and family. So that's basically all the trimming I'm going to do. Real simple. Flip them back over. I like to season up the bone side first. And then come back on the meat side. I'm going to take my Baker's Barbecue competition rub and give it a good shake. Just come across it with a good generous coat. Just like that right there. Hit those little trimmings. Little pitmaster treats. What you a lot of times hear people say, and I agree. All right, just flip them back over, bone side down. I'll be cooking them bone side down to start out with. I will flip them probably at one time through the process, but bone side down is usually how I start, so I like to go ahead and season that first, and that way it's ready to go. So just come back across the top, another good coat. A Baker's Barbecue Competition Rub. You hear me talk about this in other videos. This is my personal signature rub, and it's out on the market. You can buy it at, on my website at bakersbarbecue.net. That's BAKERS BBQ.net. And I'm also available throughout about 9 or 10 retailers in southern Missouri. When you go to my website, you can click on the retail links, the retail location link, and they'll show you where you can go and you can purchase that at. Hit the edges real good. You don't want to miss those. Give it a little bit of a pat so it'll kind of adhere. Sometimes I'll go back and just touch it up after I do that. And I'm going to let these sit here and sweat in. That's important. You want to let your barbecue rub have time to sweat in. What that boils down to is it'll start pulling the moisture out of the meat, and it'll start liquefying the rub, and that will enhance your bark and your flavor. So you want to make sure you do that before you put it on the smoker. If you want to season them up the night before, you can let them sweat in for a little bit and then put them in the fridge. Next morning, pull them out, let them continue sweating in before you put them on. Or you can do it about an hour before, take them out like I did today. Trim your ribs up, season them, let them sweat in, and then put them on the smoker. So from here, we've got them all trimmed, ready to go. Simple, easy. Now we're going to get the smoker all fired up, and we're going to get these bad boys smoking. So hang tight, and we'll be out there shortly, hanging by the smoker. Day out here today. Temperature is up there and going to be about 80-something degrees. Patio's still a mess, so I'm still got my smoker set up here in the garage. Back doors, front doors, so I get good airflow. But we'll be moving this all out to the patio here soon once we get the swimming pool all opened up, and be bringing home my big rotisserie smoker, offset wood charcoal rotisserie smoker. Looking forward to getting that thing set up and going. All right, so I just got these bad boys on. Still cooking here in the garage today. It's so windy out here that I was going to go out in the patio. It's just so windy, I didn't want to fight the wind. So still sit up here and got some ribs going here. Let's take a quick look at them. I just put them on here. Quick look at those jokers. Oh yeah, look at that. That's going to be some nice ribs right there. All right, we're going to set this bad boy back down. And we're just going to enjoy a good day hanging out here today cooking. Got the Cardinal game going on. I know everybody's a Cardinal fan, I get that, but got the Cardinals going today. Put on your favorite game, fire your smoker up, get out here and enjoy a beautiful day with the exception of all the wind. So we'll be checking back in as we progress through this cook. 2 sides of St. Louis style ribs. Gonna be tasty, gonna be delicious. All right, everybody, we're about the 2.5 hour mark. So I want to sit back here and take a quick look at them. As you can see, smoking up real good, and see how they're looking. Maybe time to spritz. I'm going to check and see how the bark is looking on these ribs, and see if they need to get a little spritzing done to them. All right, let's open these bad boys up and take a look. Oh yeah, starting to look good. Look at that. All right, so y'all want to check the bark. All right, see, it's coming off my finger there. If you can see that. So it's not quite ready to spritz yet. But what I am going to do, as you can see it's coming off, what I am going to do though is I'm going to rotate them around. Probably won't show you that, but I'm just going to turn the rack around so that we'll continue to maintain good even heat. Believe it or not, these barrel smokers have hot spots and cold spots, so it's always good to rotate that rack around throughout the cooking process. So I'm not going to spritz right now because the bark is not set, but But I am going to rotate, and then we'll be back here next time I open it up, look at it. Maybe about an hour and a half or so, we'll come back and we'll take another look at it. All right, we're coming up on about that 4-hour mark, and like I said, today I'm kind of winging it, kind of just kind of going with it, trying a couple different things, just kind of going with whatever I feel like I want to do. So I've decided if it's time to spritz, instead of spritzing, I'm going to hit it with a little bit of this Parquet spray butter. I've used this some in the past on different things, and it always turns out good. So let's take a quick look at it, and let's see how it looks, and see how the bark is doing, and see if we need to hit it with a little bit of this butter. All right, let's get this thing opened up. Oh yeah, that's looking really, really good. Let's see how the bark is doing. It's not coming off, a little bit of color coming off, but it's not the actual rub. Looking good, see that? So I'm just gonna take a little bit of this butter here, just a little bit of this Parquet, and I'm just gonna spray it. Right there on top of the ribs. It's gonna really enhance the, sorry about that. It's going to enhance the richness of the rub and the bark. And from there, I'm going to let it go a little while longer. I am going to rotate the rack again and see how it's doing. So it's looking good. We'll be coming back here shortly, taking a look at it. I just rotated the back around. As you can see, starting to get a little bit of pullback there on the bones. George looking really good, getting some really good color to them. I'm using hickory and cherry wood today, and looking really good. There's gonna be some tasty ribs right there. Just gonna let you know, at the 4.5 hour mark, I went ahead and wrapped the ribs. I didn't bore you guys with showing you that, obviously. I just wrapped them. Now they are sitting in there meat side down, and make sure all that your seams of your foil is on the bottom, because you don't want any juices dripping out of that. But I did go ahead and wrap them at the 4.5 hour mark, and I usually go about 6.5 hours. So I'm thinking I'm going to go either 30 minutes or an hour wrapped, and then I'll go either 30 minutes or an hour unwrapped. Something else I want to tell you guys too, I've been running on today's cook, my smoker temp has been running somewhere around 245 to 250. There's been a couple times it's dropped down to the 235 range. And then there's been a few times that it has gotten up into that 260 range. But overall, I would say it's probably averaging, the smoker temperature is probably averaging right around 245-ish, just so you know. All right, so we're at the 5.5 hour mark. I know you can't see my face here, but I'm gonna go ahead and take the ribs off. I'm gonna unwrap them. I'm gonna put them back on for about another hour. So let's get these off of here, see how they're looking. I have a feeling they're going to be looking pretty good. I'm not putting any brown sugar or anything like that on them. I'm just going straight dry rub. Oh yeah, look at that. That's some pretty ribs right there. Put that back on. I'm just going to let them go back on there and tack up for a little while. Let me go ahead and shut that down so my fire won't get up on me there. Open these back up, get them back on there. They've been wrapped up meat side down for about an hour. Some really good looking ribs. Looks like it's about to fall apart on me. That's some beautiful ribs right there, look at that. Put those back on just like that. Shut that back down. We're gonna let those go for probably about 30 minutes. I said an hour, but I don't think they're gonna need that. Probably, maybe even 15, 20 minutes. I'm gonna come back and check them here shortly, see how they're doing, and then I'm gonna take them off. I just want them to kind of tack back up a little bit, where it's not just sitting with a bunch of juice on top. I don't want it to mess up my bark. All right, there, I'm a fellow barbecue enthusiast. We got the ribs all done. It's been a great day. I've enjoyed it. Cooked up 2 sides of St. Louis style St. Louis style ribs. I didn't use any binder, used no sauce. All I used was Baker's Barbecue Competition Rub. I did a light trim on the ribs, and I smoked them for right at 6 hours. I smoked them the first 4.5 hours or so, 5 hours unwrapped, and I wrapped them for an hour, and then I unwrapped them for 30 minutes. And the average temperature on the smoker was right around 245 throughout the cook. So without further ado, I'm going to pick up one of these ribs, and we're going to try one. A little bit closer so you can see it. Delicious looking ribs, got a good bark on it. Can't wait to eat this. All right, let me take a quick bite out of this, see how we did. Wow. Turned out phenomenal. Sorry about that. Sitting there trying to enjoy the flavor. I tell you, sometimes just doing simple is better. So I hope you guys enjoyed the cook today. I hope you had your smokers fired up. Hope you enjoyed watching Baker's Barbecue today myself. And if you did, please like the video. Please go to Baker's Barbecue, the channel, and subscribe. And if you want to order some Baker's Barbecue Competition Rub, you go to bakersbbq.net. That's BAKERSBBQ.net. So until the next time I see you, happy smoking.